Welcome back to the Gweilo 60 channel. I know I've sort of been political in the past, and I sort of switch it up back to the old Gweilo 60. You know, the idea that there's a lot of anti-China rhetoric going on at this time around the world, and a lot of people have been asking me, when are you going to turn into an anti-China vlogger, because you haven't been in China for, well, I've been on and off for about a year now. I think I've been in the Philippines. This is my 5th trip, and this trip actually was supposed to be just for the winter, 3-4 months. It's gone on just about 7 months already. But you see turds like Winston Sterzel and Mathew Tye, better known as Serpentza and Laowhy 86. You know, as soon as they left China, they turned into the anti-China beasts and started saying, well, you know, and none of it's really true. It's sort of like, what did they do one time? They were saying China is painting the landscape beside the roads so it looks green. Well, they're actually hydro-seeding with a slurry that you know, comes out green because that's the color of grass. It comes out green, but it's got seeds and it's got fertilizer and it's got moisture in it and stuff like that, and it helps grow. But to them, no, China's faking it. They're growing, or they're not growing. They're painting the ground so it looks like grass. You know, the idea that they see one rental bike, electric rental bike, laying on its side. Now they paint all the Chinese people as people that just leave shit laying around and stuff like that, you know, like children. So, you know, they paint the whole country with the same brush, all the Chinese people. Well, yeah, okay, well, that's their way of making money. You see, these are two failed businessmen in China. Churchill Custom Motorcycles. They tried to buy and sell dogs. They tried a lot of different things, and they couldn't make anything of anything. They ended up as failed school teachers, you know, teaching elementary children stuff. And then Winston went on to try to teach doctors English, and then he says he was training doctors. And you know, so most everything out of their mouth has been a lie from the word go. But in their earlier videos, when they were doing videos about China, they were no different than myself or Daniel Dumbrill or Alex from Reportify Media or Lee Barrett or, you know, David from 86 Laowhy. It's the opposite of Laowhy 86. I'll get into his stuff later. But you know, the idea that you got Gweilo Nation with Matt and stuff like that, and everybody goes around and says, you know, oh, look at this great country. Look at the subway systems. Look at the high-speed trains. Look at the high-rises. Look at the hospitals. Look at the universities. Look at the roads. Look at, you know, all of the different things that are going on in China, because it was growing so fast that it was just like right off the scale. And they started out that way. And then as soon as they left the country, because, you know, they were starting to get a little bit negative, and I think that they figured that they could make more money riding the anti-China wave. And Winston's always been looking to sort of get out of South Africa, for one thing, because he was like a homeless person at one point in China, and you know, use that platform to boost himself into the United States. So what does he do? He marries a Chinese doctor, and then when she's like 8 months pregnant or 7 months pregnant, they visa their asses off to the United States, have an anchor baby in the United States, and now he gets to stay there. You know what I mean? So using his child as a way. So the guy is about as low as they come, and his little sidekick, I'm not even sure what to call him, but you know, he just agrees with everything Winston says. But basically, I've watched a little bit of their stuff lately, and you know, they're associating themselves with China Uncensored, which is a known Falun Gong. And if you don't know what Falun Gong is, it's a cult that's being banned in China. And, China Uncensored, New Tang Dynasty TV, all of these Falun Gong outlets, like their media stuff. They all spout the same anti-China stuff. They want to overthrow the Chinese government. They're seditious people. Well, so now Winston Sterzel, known as Serpentza, and Mathew Tye, known as Laowhy 86, are doing videos with China Uncensored. All right, each to their own. They can do whatever the hell they want. But, associating yourself with a cult where they don't believe in interracial marriages, Winston and Mathew Tye, that are both married to Chinese women. So what a contradiction in understanding. So anyway, and those biracial children that you're having with those Chinese women, these people they would excommunicate your ass out of Falun Gong because they're associating themselves with Falun Gong. You can see that they're obviously not doing it because they believe in what they're talking about. What they're doing it for is they're doing it for the money that they make. I've met 100 or more Americans, just Americans, in China over the years. And I haven't met one American that doesn't like China. I've never met one American that says anything really bad about China, except for maybe the rural areas are a little poor. It's hard to get Western food there. You can't buy taco spice, in the Walmart. It's just little things like that. But unless they're making money off of it. You see, they've got $1.6 billion tagged for anti-China media manipulation in the United States over a 5-year time period. I'm not quite sure. I think it came in a couple of years ago, and it still goes for another couple of years. But so they're obviously getting money from the American government to do this anti-China rhetoric. They've got sponsors. They've got money coming in from a number of different directions. Not just from Google, not just from Patreon, but they're sponsors. And one of their sponsors is obviously the American government. They've got this anti-China rhetoric down to a T, and they're running off the hate that the administration, the political American administration, is promoting. The Trump administration is pointing their finger at China, saying, "Oh, you stole our lunch." Oh no, that was Biden. But the idea that hello, look at these guys down here. All water babies, I tell you, all water babies. But that's getting off topic. You gotta love the background here, right? But you see, the whole thing is fabricated to play to the anti-China group of people out there. They don't care if it's a lie. They don't care if they're being deceived. Just so long as somebody's telling them what they want to hear, that's all that matters to them. Just validate my understanding of my hate towards. And all you got to do, and it is racist. They say, "Oh no, we hate the Chinese government, but we love the Chinese people." Well, the Chinese people vote for a representative to go to Beijing, and that representative votes for the leader of the country and the Politburo and whatever. So there is a voting system. So, and over 90% of the people in China back their government. So when you're saying that I hate the Chinese government, but I love the Chinese people, well, the Chinese people are the Chinese government. So when you're spouting hate against the Chinese government, you're spouting hate against the Chinese people. You know, they say, oh, well, this is bad, and this is bad, and this is bad. It's not the government doing it, it's the Chinese people. So they can't hide behind that anymore. The anti-China rhetoric, the hate, the racism, and you just go to the comment section. Go over to, I don't care if it's promoting their channels anymore. You know, they've got 1 million and 1.6 million people watching, or not watching probably, but subscribers, and a lot of subscribers go on and they never unsubscribe. I know on my channel I've got over 102,000 subscribers, but sometimes I only get 2,500, 3,500 people watching one of my videos. So a lot of those subscribers are just dormant people, and that's just the way it is. But they've gained a big following riding on the coattails of the government's hate against China. And, you know, they have no other skills. So if this falls apart, they're going to have to go to work at McDonald's, or they're going to have to say the words, "Welcome to Walmart." You know what I mean? Like, because they have no other skills. It's just the way it is. Well, Winston could probably float on the back of his wife. She's a doctor, but I doubt if they'd, you know, recognize her as a doctor in the United States because she's got Chinese credentials. But she could be, you know, maybe a nurse or I'm not sure. It all depends on if you get, you know, an old age place that would hire her to, you know, change bedpans or whatever. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. You see, most hate comes from manipulation through some form of media, whether it be Fox News or CNN or Instagram or YouTube or whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's a manipulation of the public through media, some source of media, whether it's social media, whether it's mainstream media. It really doesn't matter. But the same rhetoric gets told over and over and over again. Then they have a script, and you can see it. There's a lot of videos on the internet that shows mainstream media telling you the same keywords over and over and over again. It gets planted in the minds, and it starts from a very young age. When you get the children being brainwashed like this on a regular basis for years and years and years. I saw it in my own family where, you know, my brother, my father, you know, friends and family members where, you know, they all had a negative outlook on China. I tried to change the way that they looked at it, but it's difficult because they've got that seed that's been planted for 20, 30, 40 years in the older people, and the younger people listen to the older people, and they listen to the mainstream media, and they listen to social media. But social media now, because when I started this, doing videos about China, and everybody knows that I started doing it for my dad and stuff like that. He's gone now, but when I started, there were very few tubers in China telling the pro-China side of the story. Now there's like hundreds of them. There's like a lot of young people coming to China. A lot of them telling the real story of China by being there, living there. You see, Winston Sterzel and Mathew Tye haven't been in China for over 7 years. They have no idea what China has become. They only manipulate the news and then put their spin on it and do the anti-China Falun Gong type of shit that comes out of a cult's mouth. A cult that doesn't like China because they've been banned from China. The leader of Falun Gong thinks he can walk through walls and levitate, you know, and as I said before, interracial marriage is a taboo, you know. So you've got that racist connotation about it, and it's just not a good thing to be associated with. But these people, they don't give a shit. They associated with Corey Selby, a convicted dog killer. He was living with dead dogs, a dead dog in his basement and a dead dog in his bedroom. Prime in China. That's what his channel was. Prime in China. And it smelled so bad that the neighbors called the police because they figured there was a dead body. And there was a dead body. It was a bulldog named Bruno in his bedroom where he was sleeping. What was he doing with that dog? Who knows? What did it die from? Ooh, you know. But this is somebody that Winston Sterzel would associate himself with and call a friend. So when you look at these people and you hear the anti-China rhetoric that comes out of their mouths, whether it be Fox News or whatever, that are getting money from the American government to spout this stuff, you have to ask yourself, why are they saying this? What motivated them to take this stance against China? And if the answer is because they're being paid for it, well then you should disregard anything they say and go over and listen to Lee Barrett. And Lee Barrett promotes Shenzhen and companies around China. I've been on trips with him and stuff like that. He's a really good guy. Alex from Reportify Media promotes Chongqing, China, one of the biggest cities in the frickin' world. You know, Daniel Dumbrell, he's setting up a gym in Chongqing. You get Matt from Gweilo Nation. You get David from 86 Laowhy. You get all of these people doing videos and living in China, living that life that most people out there don't know anything about. So these people are actually living it today, yesterday, and they'll be there tomorrow. And they're telling you what they see, what they feel, what they what they experience in a daily life. It's like listening to somebody that hasn't been there for years and years and years, or listening to somebody that's actually living there and experiencing it. And so what I'm saying is, make sure that you understand who you're listening to, why they're saying what they're saying, and if they're getting paid for it, which Winston Sterzel and Mathew Tye obviously are, because that's the only thing that they do is badmouth China, you got to take it with a grain of salt. And that, my friends, is another long commentary from yours truly, Gweilo 60, by the ocean, as always. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe, hit the bell, show me some love, bye. You know what I mean? And until next time, thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye now.